Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday. Thank you for joining This Kid Got Talent. I am your host, Desiree Williams Hall of Real Love Ministries, and I am just super excited where this Kid Got Talent is taking off. I really thought that this would just be for the weekend of Children's Day, but let me tell you, it's so many dynamic kids. I could not just box them all in one weekend. So we decided just to continue it for the rest of the year. And I don't know, it depends on what God says. It may even go longer and grow because there are so many dynamic kids. I have one interview today that I can't wait to feature, Miss Jada Brown. And then I have one next week as well before this month ends out with two dynamic young men of Kasi Sportswear, the Pender Boys. I'm telling you, it's so many beautiful and wonderful children that are doing so much. And this Kid Got Talent, all this is based around is showcasing and highlighting young people that are making big waves in our communities and our surrounding areas. And because of the waves that they're making, it's causing ripple effects of empowerment and inspiration to so many. Even adults are being inspired by these young children. Now, I have Miss Jada O. Brown. She is the co-author with her dynamic mother, Nicole Brown, of the Indestructible Olivia Brown, Winning at All Costs. This young lady is going to the 5th grade, okay? She just graduated from the 4th grade, going to the 5th grade. I believe she's 10 years old. And listen, she already co-authored a book. What were you all doing at the age of 10? Listen, I don't know what I was doing. I know it wasn't on nobody platform, on nobody book cover, none of that. So it just wows me how these children are X factors. Okay, that means they're doing extraordinary, doing things that nobody else is doing. They're just so unique and different in their own way. And I am just so happy to be able to showcase and to platform these young people because they need to be introduced to the world. Everybody needs to know who they are because they're doing great things. Jada, how are you?
I am great. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. I'm great. You look so beautiful. Thank you for joining me today on This Kid Got Talent.
You're welcome. You look beautiful too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So are you having a good Saturday so far?
Yeah, I'm having a great one.
Good. You look like it. So, Jada, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, tell everybody that's listening. I've learned a little bit about Jada O last week. If you all heard our radio show, she was on the radio show with her mom, and she did so well. I wanted to showcase her on This Kid Got Talent. So, Jada, tell everybody about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Jada, as you already know. And I play soccer on a team. I'm 10 years old. I've already said that. Yeah. And I'm writing another book.
Whoa. So you're already on your second book. Is it a series to this particular book that we're going to talk about today, or is it something totally different?
Same series.
It's the same series.
Same series. Awesome. So Jada, I know you say you play soccer. What position do you play?
Midfield.
Midfield. Okay. All right. So how long have you been playing soccer?
How long?
About a year.
Yeah, about a year.
About a year. Okay. All right. Mom, just come on in so everybody can see who is talking on the side. Help in, Jada. I'm good. How are you doing, Nicole?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. This is Jada's mom, everybody. She is an educator. She's a math teacher. Am I correct?
Yes,
Nicole, I don't want to mess your introduction up. So tell everybody who you are.
Well, I am a mother of three. Jada Olivia is the youngest. I am an instructional coach at a school in Miami, at the co-author of this fantabulous book that we've been working on. But I think my main title is mom. So I'm
Awesome.
excited.
Yes. Let me tell you, when you have children, mom, that title mom just overrides everything else.
Everything else,
People could
yes.
see you as this, as that, but our family, our children, they just see us as mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So Jada, let me ask you. I know you play soccer. What else do you like to do on your spare time?
Well, my favorite thing to do is to play like sports. Soccer's not my only sport that I like to play. That's the only sport that I play like on a team. But for
Hmm.
fun at home, at cousin's house, I could play football, anything, just name it.
Oh, so you that sportsy athletic chick, right?
Yes.
Cool, cool. All right, all right. So Jada, now tell us about how you're doing through the pandemic. Were you wasn't going to school? Everything was virtual with you as well?
Yes.
How did you handle that coming out of school, going into more of the virtual world, getting your education? Was that difficult? I know some children, it was difficult because, they lost that social life pretty much, being around their peers and everything. How did you handle that?
I think I handled it pretty well because during the pandemic, I used to not like realize who I was. But during the pandemic, I found out that I'm a young, smart, intelligent, beautiful young lady. And I'm
Oh, that's a beautiful answer. You know what? You're not the only one that felt like that. I believe, and you know what? Before I say what I believe, Nicole, let us know how you feel, during the pandemic, just piggybacking off of Jada's response. How do you feel about that, even with yourself during the pandemic as an educator?
Well, for Jada specifically, I think the pandemic was a godsend at the moment because we had been dealing with a lot of like the mean girl stuff and the bullying at school. And being home allowed her to kind of get in touch with, how they say, get in touch with her star player,
Mm-hmm.
and to start to see herself out without the other voices, the other things that were being said in school. And so she got a chance to really just hear me and her father, kind of speaking to her about who she was, because we were kind of losing her before the pandemic because she was listening so much to what everyone else around her had to say about her. So I think it did something good because it allowed us to just be the only voices primarily that she got to hear. As an educator, it was trying to balance everything. Part of what I do is working with teachers as well as students, and keeping everybody kind of uplifted and listen, just listen, we'll get through this. We'll get through it together. We'll work together. But I think the pandemic had some really good things in that it caused us to look at family again and really focus on being a family and being around each other, and kind of getting rid of those outside influences that distracted from that whole family feel.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. And, I believe that this pandemic, in a sense, was also a godsend. It slowed everything down. It made us really reflect on, like Jada said, who we are, and as a person, as an individual, without other influences. And then it also caused us to reflect a whole lot on family, things that distracted us throughout our day, throughout our week, throughout our months, because time doesn't wait for no one. So once we get into a pattern of doing things every day, it turns into weeks, it turns into months, it turns into years. And when you realize it, like, my God, I just lost myself. I lost my family. I lost everything. So I think it just slowed everything down and brought everything really back into perspective. And then going back to what Jada said, it caused people to really, number one, become bored and discover the beauty within themselves. Discover who they are as a person, realizing, hey, I may not just know how to do hair. hey, I can cook, I can, because it just it pushed you into areas that you probably never challenged yourself. So in that sense, I think the pandemic was awesome. Was awesome. Besides every other negative thing that we were hearing. So Jada, I am so happy that you were able to have that moment or those moments to reflect on Jada. Now tell everybody, what did you learn about Jada
Me,
that you didn't know before?
that I was beautiful. Cause at school, I was always nervous to like dress up and stuff, and it was always like, why do I always do that? But when the pandemic started, and I was listening to my mom all the time because she was the only one I could listen to. And then it really like had a way of finding of who I am and who I truly am instead of listening to the outside voices.
Awesome, awesome. And you are beautiful. And don't let anyone tell you that. It's so many young girls, and Nicole, I applaud you for being that voice of wisdom. As a mother, as a woman, to a young lady. That being that voice of wisdom and letting her know and ensuring her that you are beautiful. God created you beautiful. You're fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And I found that we have to continuously encourage ourselves. Those of you who are listening that are dealing with self-esteem issues, self-image issues, wondering if I'm too big, if I'm too small, if they'll like me. We all go through that, or we all have been through that in some sense. But you have to look yourself in the mirror. And I realize there are so many people that can't even look themselves in the mirror because they're so ashamed of their body, their self-image, who they are. They feel like they're not like the other girls, or I'm not like everybody else that I see on social media who looks so beautiful. No, I am beautiful. I'm my own person. I am fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And that's what you have to get up and look yourself in the mirror every day and say, and smile. I'm telling you, smile and say, look, wow, we're all going to look different, and just say, I am beautiful. I am fearfully and wonderfully made by God. You know how many people that didn't know Jada know you now and look like, what is she talking about? She is so beautiful and she's doing great things.
That was one of the things that we really that I really got to focus with her on the pandemic, because she was like, well, I don't look like the other girls, or I don't do the things the other girls do, because when she's home, she's not a little girl that plays with dolls. She's Legos. She wants to build something. She's puzzles. She's this, that. And I said, well, that's how God made you. Exactly. You're brilliant, and you have to see it. I don't, if you can't see it, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Exactly. So it was teaching her to get up, and it's funny because in her room, well, actually in all the rooms, I installed mirrors, because I said, listen, get up and look in that mirror, and you need to see that you're amazing. And it's not just about outside beauty. You're actually kind. You actually think about other people's feelings. You're not just beautiful on the on the outside, but it's the inside too, because that matters to me more than whether your hair is pretty. Exactly. Are you a kind person? Are you a person that when you go out into the world, that you exhibit the kind of traits that God would be proud of?
Exactly. And I'm telling you, that's your glow. That's your it. That's your X factor away from all the other girls, is what you have on the inside. They can be beautiful, but if they're mean, they're ugly. That is an ugly spirit. And they may be beautified on the outside, but people don't like to deal with ugly hearted people, mean-hearted people, hateful people. It's not good. So Jada, just because, like your mom said, just because you're kind, just because you're loving, and okay, I like to build. I don't like to build, but that's me. You like to build, so that's you. That's what God created you to do. You never know what you'll be in the future. You might be an architect. You might be this. You might be that. So don't limit yourself, or don't try to duplicate what no one else is doing. Be Jada. Be who God created you to be. I posted yesterday, love and embrace who you are.
Yes.
Because we need you. This world needs you. That's why you're on this platform, because I want others to see who Jada is, because Jada is making big waves, and I want those waves to drench, to wet up, to soak others that are watching right now, so that they will be inspired and empowered to keep moving and to keep pushing. Because if Jada did it at 10 years old, and here I am at 44, I don't have no name, no book, no title under my name like that. So, you know what I'm saying? So it tells me, if she can do it at her age, I know I can do it. Other young peers your age, it's encouraging them that they can do it. So Jada, I'm telling you, utilize those mirrors, honey. Every time let me tell you, yes, don't wait for validation from anybody. Because if you're waiting to hear it, other people will see your glow. Other people will see what you have on the inside. And if they want to be really mean, they will try to down you. They will try to discourage you, because they can't be you. Okay? So if we're trying to be like others, and others are trying to be like, no, honey, no, you can't put me down. I know who I am. And when you know who you are, people cannot manipulate you. They cannot intimidate you, because you can stand with your head up high and say, I know who I am.
Yeah, because one of the really amazing things that has come out of her even in this process, we got to do that wonderful interview with you guys for your 10th anniversary, and we were so glad to be on. But even since leaving that, she's been so excited about working on this second book, with the idea of bullying and things like that. And so she gets up and she's like, Mom, I know, because we started writing, we're kind of at the midpoint. And so she's like, I'm thinking about that other character, and I think we should say this. And so she's really excited about being able to say something and help somebody else really understand, what she went through and how she got over it and how she's moved past it. So I'm just really excited, about where this is taking her and how it's building such a confidence in her to really, like, let's say, okay, let's see what's next. What can we do next, Mom?
Exactly. And this is something that I always have said over the years. God allows things to happen for a purpose. Being bullied and being talked about and embarrassed in front of others, that's a bad experience. And I hate that you had to go through that, Jada. But God allows things for a purpose. And I believe now that the purpose, he allowed that to happen so you can have this position right now to say, hey, I was bullied as well. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. It even made me think about who I was as a person. Was I even good enough, to be around these people or to be in this position, and God laid it out as an avenue for you to inspire and to encourage others. You see how that works?
Yes.
That is so awesome.
Everything has purpose. And, I'm always reminded as a parent, when her father and I work together, we collaborate very well with them. It's training. The Bible says, train up a child. Yes. And training means that not only am I teaching you, but then I'm going back and I'm going to look for what I expect. It's exactly. That inspect what you expect. So exactly. We're going back and going, listen, we're critiquing. Well, how well did you do with this? And how did you handle this? And, one of the things I'm very big about with all of our kids is them being able to talk about their moment. You know what I mean? So even if they messed up, yep, you messed up, but hey, let's talk about it. What did you learn? What could we have done differently? That doesn't mean you'll be excused from the punishment, but we want to make sure we want to make sure that you don't only just go through the experience, but you actually learn from it.
You learn from it,
grow from it.
Exactly. And you just said it, Nicole, because that's how if we learn, you grow. Mm-hmm. You grow from experiences, and I believe that everything that God allows and you experience, you should grow from it.
Yes.
Yeah. You should not be the same. You should not stay the same. You should not see it the same. You should not even do the same thing, because I have grown from that. So that was an awesome perspective. So let us talk a little bit about you being bullied. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like an awful person. Like the things that he said to me, or she, mostly he, the things that he said to me were really awful, and I felt horrible about myself. And that's what really started to make me feel down and nervous to go to school because I know he would be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't want to write a journal about it because what would that do to help others
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
in that specific situation? So I was always nervous to tell a teacher because that person would always twist up the story, like saying, no, she did it to me," and I was like, "No, I didn't do anything." But the thing is, I was always doubtful about myself when it happened, and I told my mom, and she tried to cheer me up, which she always did. But it didn't make me feel different about myself. It still made
Mm-hmm.
me feel the same as what he said. But now, looking back at it, I feel like it had a purpose, a
Right.
really good purpose. Because now I know that I could help others by writing this book.
Yeah. And bullies, they're usually hurt with themselves. So they just try to downplay everybody else or whoever they can, that they see. It's like, wow, I really admire her. But a lot of times it's jealousy, it's envy. There's so many people that deal or have dealt with being bullied and they just hovered it inside. And I believe that mean little boys grow up to be mean men. Mean little girls will grow up to be mean women if it's not taken care of, if it's not addressed, if they don't find the proper help. You understand what I'm saying? So I know that it might have hurt, and I'm glad that you made it through that with the help of your mom. And like you said, with the journaling, some people release in journaling or whatnot, but that was not your way out. Do you know what was your way out to make you actually feel better? Besides your mom talking to you, because you said, it didn't really do anything, but you kind of made it through it. What was that kind of like say, Jada, you don't have to listen to that.
My the person except for my mom who really helped me during the time was either the teacher or my friends, because my friends were always there to help me. They would see it and say, "It's not your fault, the teacher just didn't see it and he twisted the story." And that'll make me feel like, yeah, he did twist the story, because at that time I was feeling doubtful, like if I actually did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. And my friends really helped me see that. And the teachers that did see it, they said, you're not in trouble, except for the teacher who thought that he was telling the truth. But you don't have to worry about that, because in the inside you should know that you didn't do anything wrong at that time. And you
Exactly. Exactly. Go ahead, Nicole. Go
I
ahead.
would say as a mom, it's hard because there's a part of you that wants to go to the school and tear the school up because you're trying to figure out, because we went through a scenario where she had started writing on her and I'm stupid, I'm ugly, and I took pictures of it because I had to share it with her dad, but it was, what do we do? And we actually went and met with the therapist, and we took her to therapy and had him like help not only her understand how to get through this process, but help us understand how to help her. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I'm not going to be with her. Her dad's not going to be with her every step of the way. So what do we do, or what can we instill in her so that when these situations arise, she knows how to handle it? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And it came down to us. It's always one of the things. I always talk to people about the voices that you hear in your head. You know what I'm saying? If the people that love you, support you, say the right things, and they instill the right things, then when you come against adversaries or you come against things, what are the voices that you hear in your head? If the voices that you hear are just as bad as the voices on the outside, you don't have a fighting chance. I always talk to people about how they talk to their children.
Right.
There's certain
Right.
things. Listen, don't down your kids. Do you acknowledge that they did something wrong? Yes. But does that make them that type of person? No, they just had that type of experience.
Exactly.
But remind them about all the positive things that they are. Remind them about who they are, because we give them their identity. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Don't allow outsiders to give them their identity. My job is to tell you who you are. My job is to tell you, those things so that you have something to fight with. You know what I mean? When those voices are coming in. And, one of the hardest things, and it's funny because it was hard for me as an adult. So trying to teach it to her was like very important, because I had to learn that sometimes when people reject you or do something to hurt you, it really has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
It has so much to do with who they are and how they see themselves and how they interact with the world. So sometimes you're getting backlash, not from anything that you may have necessarily done, but because of how they view themselves and the hurt that they've had to endure. And so now they're lashing out at you. It takes a very mature thought to be able to step back and look at a person and go, you know what, this ain't about me. This is really about you.
Exactly. And, and that's what I was explaining to Jada, it's because they have an issue within themselves that they have never dealt with. So it just comes off as being mean to others. Hearing Jada's story and hearing her say that of how she felt, and it made her doubt herself. It just almost sounds like an abuser, and it is abuse. Women and men who go through domestic violence, and it's like, I know this person did this to me. I was the one they did it to, but now I'm second guessing myself. Was like, is that really what happened? Like doubting yourself of, did this really take place, or am I the problem? It's so many men and women that go through that, even in relationships and different domestic, whether it's with a parent, a sibling, and it's just so many different domestic abuses that same scenario, that same thought pattern resides in in people who are abused. And they stay in that same situation because they make excuses like, is it me? But I'm just so glad that God placed Jada with awesome parents and awesome friends that are around her. Like, no, he twisted the story. It wasn't you. This is what happened, and it needs to be dealt with. And I'm so glad, because so many people feel that, going to therapy, asking for help is like a bum move, a dumb move. Like, man, I ain't crazy. No, it's not the fact that you're crazy. It's always great to hear another perspective and bringing things and helping to bring things in perspective and praying about it and asking God and trusting God, because he said, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not to thy own understanding. And if you acknowledge God in all your ways, he is going to direct your path. He put people there. He put therapists there to be a voice of reasoning. It's nothing wrong with therapy. Those of you who are listening, and we deal with the church world a lot, and that's something that you rarely hear. Now you're hearing it a lot more because of the mental health and everything. But it's okay if you need to speak to someone. It's okay if you need to go to a therapist and say, hey, this is what's going on. Not only on Jada, I applaud you even as parents stepping out and say, okay, I don't know, because parenting has no instruction manual of how to do and how to handle certain situations, because every child is different. Every parent is different. So it's like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. This is how I'm feeling. How do I deal with this? And like you, Nicole, I remember when I found out my baby girl, Ebony, was getting bullied at the bus stop, right? So I'm like, who's doing that? Let's go to this bus stop. The woman of God, what I'm saying? That motherly, that lioness in us, it steps out and like, no, I don't care how she want to fight you like a grown woman. Okay, we finna deal with this. I'm finna deal with her as a grown woman. So, and then I remember seeing on the news where they're like, oh, they should be the bigger person, how parents lash out or whatnot. And when that happened to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I was that parent. I was like, yeah, they should have took the adult role. But at that moment,
the moments.
You're thinking about protecting your child.
Yes.
You know, and I really had to like, okay, God, no, this is the wrong kind of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even at school, it's like, no, we finna go to the school. We finna see who this child is and see what she about, you know, saying this and that. So we need that help, you know.
Yeah.
Even those that think they got it all together, trust me, when your foot is in them shoes, honey, it's like we're thinking about protecting the child. And then, you know, that adult role kind of come in later.
Yeah.
Like, so I totally understand.
One of the things that, you know, the misconception I would say about therapy is that you're going in and, you know, somebody's going to tell you and, you know, they want to deal with your childhood issue. No, the purpose of therapy is really to have someone to talk to who, as my grandfather would say, don't have a horse in your race. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Another voice, because sometimes when you're talking to family and loved ones, they love you, you know, and it's hard for them to see past how they see you and how they feel about you. So it gives someone, you know, a great therapist really only helps you get through your thoughts and process your feelings and process, you know, where you're at in a situation and how you want to handle it. Because sometimes, you know, you want to say things and you want to get it out and you need to hear it and, you know, process through it. But going to the wrong person, you know, will give you sometimes your own same thought, you know, and
exactly.
Here's something different, you know, give me another perspective, give me something else to kind of see it as, you know, because all I know is what I know.
Exactly.
You know? So if you sit with someone who can help you see it differently and process through it in a way that doesn't make you feel intimidated or threatened, or, you know, if I talk to auntie such and such, she gonna tell the whole family. No, this is a moment for you to actually have someone that you can talk to about what's going on inside of you, who helps you map out where you're trying to go.
Exactly. And I do definitely agree. And that's why I added the part where, you know, what the Bible scripture says, you know, being directed by God, because, you know, from my own personal experience, God sent people in my life to like pretty much navigate and bring to perspective, to clarify things, you know, that I was confused about or concerned about, you know, and they have experienced something similar, you know, and they were able to give insight. And this was outside of my normalcy, you know, my normal circle. So that was great. That was awesome. It really helps. It really helps. I totally agree 100%. Now, before we start talking about the book, okay, so we're going to get ready to go into the book, because all of these experiences led up to you all writing this book, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so but before we go into the book, I'm looking at these comments. Jada, you're getting these comments, and I just want to read a few. Miss Karen said, "Hi, beautiful." Gladys Brown, congrats to you, Jada. Josie Ann, it caused us to reflect. So people are being inspired. Rick Bow, yes, you are beautiful inside and out. Katie Powell says you are gorgeous. Shatina saying you're beautiful. Zarina, hey Jada Mom. Shatina Clark, they're just responding to the conversation. Yes, seeing you and knowing your beauty. Josie says a living testimony for someone else, because I know that there are plenty of young people or parents that are on the line right now that are watching this live stream and are dealing with bullying or have dealt with their children being bullied. So it's so great that you all stepped out and are able to talk about it. So I appreciate that. Shanika is saying, congratulations, Jada. And Shatina Clark says, having the spirit and courage to say, I am going to help others is so courageous and thoughtful, proving even more just how beautiful you are. Wow. Isn't that encouraging, Jada?
Yeah.
And Josie is saying, thanks for sharing your story, Jada. Awesome. So I just wanted to share all of those comments because people are being inspired. people are being empowered. And, some may think that this is simple. Oh, this is nothing. Who are they? Who is Desiree? I'm not watching that. But those that are watching, you never know who's on here. And they are feeling so empowered. And it's like, you know what? Let me get off this couch. Let me get up. Let me start doing. Let me start inspiring. Let me start touching lives. So once again, Jada, thank you so much. So now let's talk about the indestructible Olivia Brown, Winning at All Costs. Your book. Come on. Tell us about the book. Give us the scoop. Give us the 411, not the 911. The 411. It's a 911 because it's going to help others navigate through what they're going through. So just tell us about the book.
Okay, so the book, The Indestructible Olivia Brown, is the series, and the title Indestructible has to do with reminding her that she doesn't have to be defeated. That if she just remembers the lessons learned and all those things, she doesn't have to be defeated. This particular thing, and I think she's trying to show it, but this.
Yes, thank you.
This particular issue, Winning at All Costs, is actually something that we actually did go through with her going to a party with some of her friends or whatever, and discovering one of her best friends and discovering something about herself. You want to talk about it?
You could do it.
But yeah, so we had been going through this thing with the girls. She had a group of girlfriends that she kind of grew up with. And, there was like so many issues, and she would come home and be like, well, mommy, something's off with my friend. Something's off with my friend. So we got invited to a birthday party with all of her friends. And so I was ready as Mama Bear to go, because I'm going to have a conference with all the mothers so we can figure this out. And in the process, I discovered something about her. You know what I mean? Because sometimes as a parent, it's hard for us to see our baby that might be doing something a little off.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always everybody else. Sometimes it's that. And what she discovered in that moment was in winning, what's more important, because the whole series is really about relationships and being able to navigate relationships. And so it was the conversation of what's more important in this moment. Is it your friends or is it the winning? You know what I mean? And being able to sit back and go, wait, I'm hanging out with my friends. Why am I trying to annihilate them?
Right.
Thing. Why am I trying to beat them at every single thing? And it was really that moment that I had to have with her as a mother and go, baby, you're not focused right. It's not everybody else. You're missing something. You know what I mean? And getting her to reflect on her behavior.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. But
it was.
I realized once Mom talked to me I was going like if I was in like a soccer game, just win. But at that moment when I was doing it, I didn't realize that I was going so fast and trying to beat everyone. So when I sat down, talked to Mom, I realized that in this moment
particularly,
yes, I had to slow down and wait for them. So after I had that talk, what I did was I went back to where they were and I just played like if we were hanging out. And I played until all of us won. We all won. We all came in first.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. And you know what? I'm so glad, because I was going to say, like, give us an example of, you wanting to win and, and like, okay, I won and that's it, game over. And I'm glad you rounded it off and you gave us that example to where, you know what? No, I'm not just going to win. We're going to keep playing until we all win. Let us all feel inclusive, all important. So I love that, Jada. So now it builds up to the book, The Indestructible Olivia Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Winning at all costs. So tell us about Olivia Brown. I think you told us a little bit about her, but tell us about the character in the book, Olivia Brown.
So that person, just right here, I'm on Facebook Live. Yeah. And this character
is based a lot
about me.
On her. Based a lot around her because, like her dad, I blame this solely on him. She's super competitive, super competitive, super competitive. She doesn't like to lose. And so one of the things that she had to realize is there is a time and a place for everything.
Right.
And when she's on the soccer field, listen, it's supposed to be winning. I don't want to hear nothing else. I want to hear, you was trying to be nice to the other player. That's not the time for that. But but when it comes to being with your friends, is the focus solely winning the game, or is it enjoying being there with your friends? You know what I mean? And so it's really about understanding relationships and when things are important. And being able to analyze a scenario and understand, okay, what should my focus be at this moment? Because sometimes when we leave these people behind in these scenarios, then we go back and look and can't figure out, well, why we don't have friends. The Bible says in order to have friends, you must be a friend first.
Exactly. Show
yourself friendly. Show yourself friendly. And so it's this moment of how do I show myself friendly in this moment? Because it really isn't about me winning. At the end of the day, if I won everything, what would the prize be? That I'm gonna be at the top of the, be at the thing with the medal, but then I'm gonna be by myself.
Right. And then, and especially if you're gloating in the win, like, yeah, I won. And it makes the others like, okay, all right. It's good to celebrate, and I'm glad that you showed that to Jada. And it's the athletic part of her, real sportsy. So, just to kind of give Jada little points, half points with you. I know that's the athletic part of her, always competing in the run, in the win, that type of mentality. But here it is again, Mom, with that reasoning voice, hey.
And it's hard. And as a parent, sometimes it's hard because it's actually being able to step back and take a global view of a scenario, not just I'm coming in to fight for my baby. Now don't get, that part does exist. However, I want to
after you look, but it's after you saw this whole thing, played this whole thing out, like, wait a minute, it's not all them, and I congratulate you once again, because parents don't always have that perspective. They don't see it that way. It's like, I'll deal with you later, but I'm here for the right now, and this is what it's going to be. And it's not helping Jada.
No,
it's like saying this is okay for you to act like that. I may say little X, Y, and Z when we're, to ourselves, but no, Jada, this is what it is. Yeah. And helping her get the whole thing about, even after you win, what you're not going to have any friends if they feel that you were being mean about it, or they miscommunicated your actions, or whatever the case may be. So I'm so glad that Jada, that you learned from that, because healthy relationships are very important, and I'm so glad that you're being taught that at such a young age. Because like I said, a lot of mean little girls, I may not think that I'm mean, or it's not my intention to be mean, but it comes out, I'm mean. And it just grows up. I just grew up, never dealt with it, no one never brought it to my attention. And here I am, a mean older person, a mean grown person. So I'm just so glad that you're having the guidance, and you were able to write this book to help others, to remind them how important relationships are, whether it's a work relationship, a relationship with friends, as you grow and you meet that significant other, a relationship with that person, because it's very important to have great, healthy relationship, because we all need support. We all want to be loved. We all need help, because you never know what's going to happen later on in life. And when you're well and when you're kind, it goes back to what your mom said about you at the beginning. When you're kind and when you're loving, people gravitate to that. And it's not hard wanting to help you. It's not hard wanting to be your friend. It's not hard wanting to love Jada. Okay. Yeah. So I am so glad, and I am so proud. Now, how can people get this book in their hand, or do you have a digital outlet where they can order the book or read the book? Give them all of that information on how they can follow you, how they can purchase the book, how much is the book. Give us all of that information.
Okay, so if you go on any of the outlets, Instagram, Facebook, the Indestructible Olivia Brown, you can look for that moniker. The Indestructible Olivia Brown is there on Facebook and on Instagram. If you DM us, send us a message or whatever, we can definitely send the book to you. Digitally, if you have the Kindle Unlimited, you can download it actually for free on Kindle Unlimited from Amazon. So if you go on Amazon, you can download it. You can also order it from Amazon, the physical copy. But if you just, hit us on any of our social media outlets, we can get the book to you. It's $14.99, $15. And again, it's a beautiful book. It has lots of illustrations, lots of colors. We tried to make sure that, the pictures kind of really spoke to what was going on and the feelings that the people were experiencing through this process. So, but any of social media, the Indestructible Olivia Brown, you'll be able to find it. It's a great read, even to start a discussion, with your kids about healthy relationships and how to intermingle. Because I like that you had that up there, because, when you learn how to relate to someone else as a child, it makes when you become an adult, how to relate to a person, how to communicate, how to talk. Part of what she had to do, even in this process, was to apologize to her friend for not just sweep it under the rug and pretend like it didn't happen, but to really go and apologize to her friend and say, listen, I messed up. You know what I mean? And that's part of the relationship building, is being able to communicate, but not just communicate, but communicate when you're wrong. Exactly. And being able to say, hey, own your stuff. If you messed up, you messed up. You got to own that.
Own that. That's right. Take responsibility for it. And I'm so glad that you even said that, going back and saying, I'm sorry. Do you know how many relationships could have been healed if a person or individual would have just came back and said, I'm sorry. I messed up. And stop justifying why they did what they did, and just say, hey, I looked at this all wrong. I reacted all wrong. I'm sorry. Can we start over? Can we fix this? So those of you that are listening, this is a very powerful interview today. I didn't even know what to expect. I know I expected good, but this is like superseding and going into other areas that I didn't have an idea that this was going to turn into, which is very good. And Nicole, I would love to talk. Let's chat again, with different topics and different relational situation, even with our children and within family and one another, because healthy relationships are very important. And how to get to the point of, if my relationship is sick, if it's hurting or broken, how could we fix this? And a lot of times there are simple fixes of us, denying ourselves and just saying, I'm sorry.
Listen,
I was wrong.
That right there, when you say, can I deny myself? Can I look past my own ego and go, is this worth destroying a relationship over?
Exactly. Listen, I'm married, so I know, but that's a whole nother book. We're not going to go there today. Okay. So I know, but this is what I'm saying. It channels in every situation, whether it's your work relation, your supervisor, your friends. If you can't keep good friends, it's not always them. It may be you. You have to, if there's always a family issue and there's always confusion going on in family, sometimes you got to sit back and like, okay, what am I doing?
Right. What am I doing to contribute?
Come on. Yeah. So it's very important. So you all get this book. Listen, let us all learn about having healthy relationships, because we live on this earth with people. Okay. So in some point in your life, you're going to have to deal with people. You're not going to be on this earth by yourself. Okay. We all going to need somebody. It may be a point in your life where you may get sick and have to go in the hospital, and you have to deal with other people. And so you have to know how to be nice when they render service, what to say. If you're going to a restaurant, how do you treat your waiter or your waitress? Are you the one that's always a problem, trying to get a free meal? These are things that you have to practice on. Am I having healthy relationship? So I need you all to get the book, okay? Because I'm gonna veer off. Let me go back in, But it's very important to have these healthy conversations about healthy relationships.
Yes.
And I guarantee you, once you start having these conversations, you're going to discover something about yourself. It's like, man, maybe I'm sick somewhere, or I may be unhealthy, in a lot of areas. So I'm just really enjoying this conversation with Jada and you, Nicole. And I'm so glad that she has such guidance, and I met her father, Mario, I believe,
yes.
her father, and, just seeing the joy on his face as a father, being in her life, and you all working together, to guide Jada in the right direction. And it's no other way but up from here. Jada, I believe that God has so many things in store for you. I can't wait to see your growth and you look your way to showbiz and stardom and all of that good stuff. I believe that. I believe great things are going to happen for you. And I am just so happy that God allowed us to connect, because we didn't know each other at all, and God allowed us to connect through Shanika Brown. And thank you so much, Shanika, if you're still listening, for this opportunity.
Yes.
And it's always wonderful to be able to meet great people. So I want all of our listening audience, streaming live, to please share this video, share to inspire others and to encourage others, how important it is to have healthy relationships and not to bully. Share to help them and support them in this book project and the series that are going to be upcoming, because they need your help. Jada, you're what? How old? 10 years old?
Yes.
She's only 10 years old. Come on, everybody. It's only $15. Go on Amazon, I believe it is, Kindle. Order the book. Inbox them. Ask them, how can we help? How can we connect? Because I know it takes finances. It takes help when you putting out these different projects. So I commend you all once again. I'm telling you, we done been on here like an hour.
I know.
Wow. So and it wasn't my intent for it to go so long, but I just want to thank you all taking out an hour of your time to speak with me today on This Kid Got Talent. Yes. And I'm telling you, I have been inspired. This has also been God sent. Those of you who missed the introduction at the beginning, you're listening to This Kid Got Talent. And this has been given to me by God. I thought it was just going to be the weekend of June 13th, which Children's Day fell on the second Sunday of June. And I just wanted to honor children. We hear the negativity about the children, the killings, the shootings, the robbings, the fighting, and everything negative about children and what our children are doing. But we actually have great children that are, making big waves, that are graduating, that are accomplishing so much, that are entrepreneurs, and that are building legitimate and great empires for their family and their legacy. And I want to expose these children and give them a platform that the world will know who they are. Yes, it's time that we start imparting, positivity and love, and letting them know that they do have purpose. They're never too young or they're never too old. You can do whatever God has called you to do. He has specifically packaged you for his purpose, and Jada, I want to leave with you that you are the total package. Hey, everything that God has assigned for you to do is on the inside of you. Yes. And I just want to say thank you. Wait, you got another comment here. Callie said, Jada, you are beautiful and you can do anything you put your mind to. And she's 6 years old. Little Callie is 6 years old. And Miss Rhonda Sheffield, hello sis, I missed the girls today. Okay, that was a message for me. I'm sorry, y'all. We just want to say thank you all so much for joining us and being a part of this Kid Got Talent. And I just want to encourage all of you to please purchase their book. Purchase the book. It's an awesome read. And we just expect great things. Nicole, Jada, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, anything you want to say? I'm going to say thank you so much for having us on before, now. Again, I love the conversation because when you're talking about healthy relationships, it is so important. But thank you so much for having us on and sharing our project with the world. Please check us online, any of those, Facebook, Instagram, check us out online, reach out to us. We'll talk back. But thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm also going to be adding your information in the bio. So those of you that are going to be on replay or, just want to go back and reflect, they'll have that information there.
Okay.
So thank you all so much for taking out your time. This lovely, beautiful, in some areas rainy Saturday. I want you to enjoy your rest of your day. Have a super Saturday. Be safe out there. God bless you. We love you all, and have a wonderful day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.